This is Street Fighter Alpha 3. Here comes a new challenger. That's enough! Unbeatable!
This is the Alpha Live Street Fighter Alpha 3 podcast with your hosts, TheQuest and Luke Fitz.
It's showtime!
Hello and welcome to the Alpha Lives podcast, episode 7. I'm Luke and I'm joined as always by my co-host Quest. And today we have the privilege of revealing the first ever footage of a new Street Fighter 2 game. Don't adjust your set, you heard that correctly. This is a new Street Fighter 2 game released by community member Born to SPD. So we're going to have a watch of some very early footage played by two of our community members. We're also going to discuss some ongoing issues in the Alpha 3 community, review some rival podcast videos launched by Dr. Allo and November Golf, and also rank our top 5 win quotes from the Alpha 3 series. But without further ado, let's get into the video review of the first ever footage of Super Street Fighter 2 New Legacy. So what happens here is the game was released overnight. It's a ROM hack of Super Turbo. And so Unit Productions and me played a set. We probably played maybe about 10 games or so. And as far as I know, this is the first footage ever released to the public of this game. So we've got the tapes here, and the Quest and I are going to review them. We're going to talk about some of the changes to the characters, what we like about the game, whether we think it's going to take off, all that kind of stuff. So it's a big welcome to my co-host, The Quest, and let's get the video loaded up.
Thanks, Luke. I can't wait to see it. This is the first time for me seeing the game.
Okay, so here's the first thing to notice is that you can now pick Akuma as a character, and so Unit Productions obviously, first thing he did was go straight to Akuma.
And you called him a dog as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's picked Akuma, that's just...
Yeah, that is pretty dog.
You do that. So straight away...
Little did you know that Akuma is actually not as good in this one.
Yeah, exactly.
As I was telling you, yeah.
Yep. Now, Blanca is vastly improved. So that was some nice defense by Unit there. So that move I just did there was actually an overhead. So Blanca has an overhead close towards Fierce. Hits high and it's really good. It comes out super fast. It's really hard to react to. He has a bunch of other buffs as well. So his Blanca balls are safe on block like that. They're impossible to punish, which is really big. His super is much better. The hop, the charge back and then forward plus kick is much better as well. That move, see, look how fast that recovers. You can actually use it now. So
yeah,
Blanca,
that looks a lot more practical than his previous version of it.
Oh yeah, so he's way better, which is good. I still lost that round, despite all that stuff. But
despite all that talking up.
Yeah, but here you go. I think, if I recall correctly, I think this round's a good showcase of, there we go, just some classic shenanigans.
Yeah, Blanca shenanigans. Nice air to air. Good job, man.
Yep. So none of that's really too changed, but and the other thing to note is that the music comes from the new challenges, which is the previous iteration before Super Turbo.
Interesting. Do you think the new challenges music is better or worse than the better?
Not necessarily better. I think it's just a nice change of pace, I guess. After you've been listening to Super Turbo music for the last 20 years.
Yeah. Fair enough.
The other interesting thing, there's a stage select. So when you're on the character select screen, if you hover over a character and press start, it goes to their stage. That's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good feature.
There's Blanca's overhead that I just used there. I'm still kind of learning how to incorporate it into my game, but it seems really useful.
So before this video, you were telling me that you thought Akuma was not as overpowered as he usually is.
Yeah, I think just playing this, he feels... I was saying he feels kind of like Alpha 3 Akuma. He feels strong and quite a chaotic, powerful kind of Shoto archetype, but he doesn't feel as kind of ridiculously unbalanced as in original Super Turbo. I'm not sure exactly what changes have been made to him, but it's basically an extra, a 17th character to the game.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just feel it when a character's ridiculously powerful.
Yeah. Unit has some nice setups with his air fireballs that I can't remember if it's here or later on that we see, but yeah, he's got some cool stuff.
With his air fireballs or his standard fireballs?
Yeah, air fireballs.
Yep.
But yeah, Blanca, it's just really good. You can it's not as much of a huge punishment opportunity when they block a blanker ball anymore. So you can just go for like a crouching medium kick into balls much more freely.
Okay, you don't have to space it out anymore.
Also, this one, look, is super. So previously, Akuma would have been able to sweep that, but it's safe on block.
Safe on block. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. That's really big.
And then Luke says, "Oh yeah, that's safe on block
Safe
now."
on block now, exactly. I'm sitting at home like, oh yeah, that's safe on block. Yes.
So when you did that, did you know that it was safe, or was that the first time you?
I knew.
did it? You knew.
And he even tried to punish. You see him try and sweep, but it's too far.
Yep.
We don't only play blank versus Akuma, but that's what we started out as. So,
Okay.
I mean, the tick throws still work, obviously. I did notice, see, look at that overhead goes over sweeps and stuff. It's pretty sick. It's kind of an overhead, but it's also a off-the-ground move, like a hop kick type move as well.
Nice.
So it's really strong. Nice uppercut there. But I did notice, just saying that the tick throws have changed. I noticed playing Chun-Li later that her throw does like a regular amount of damage now. It doesn't, like in Super Turbo, it does as much damage as a spinning pile driver, I'm pretty sure, which is just stupid.
Yeah, a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
It punched through. Was it?
Yeah. Surely that must have been a bug. Like, there's no way they would design it like that. So reset, I'm like, my blanker's too good. You know, we've got to have some actual
The
good
blank
jets.
is too good. So you got to handicap it now.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, Unit's not used to playing more than 2 games. So.
No, exactly, yeah. He doesn't have the stamina.
Yeah, he lacks the stamina.
Yeah. So I don't really know what's changed with either of these two guys. I think there's not too many changes with Ryu. DJ, I think there was just some small changes to his priority of his moves to help him in some bad matches. But, you know, both of these guys were pretty balanced already. Like, I think, you know, they're not the people that really need to be changed too much.
Yeah, they're both characters that are generally considered just above the top tiers.
Just below.
Yeah, just below.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
just below.
So he played a really nice round there. Oh, nice uppercut. He loves going for the overhead. As you'll see throughout this when he's playing Ryu, he just always overheads.
Maybe you inspired him with all his blinker overhead.
Yeah, I think I did. The
Like I've got one of these as well.
Yeah, exactly. The machine gun upper punch seems... Oh, how did I block that? That was amazing. The machine gun upper punch seems to be a lot easier to combo into now. So I was hitting jab, machine gun, and I was getting like 3 hits. That normally I find that really difficult. So I don't know if that's changed or...
Okay, maybe the timing is easier.
Yeah.
For moves.
Not sure.
Did you feel like when you... Oh, did you play any half circle or quarter circle fireball characters?
Yeah, I did. I felt... Well, one thing I noticed with Fei Long is that his chicken wing is way easier. And I played a bit of Ken later on. I feel like it was fairly similar, but I don't really struggle to get out... I almost commented that into something. Yeah, I don't really struggle to get out fireballs or DPs normally, so I didn't notice anything different.
Okay, because ST is known for like having a more strict timing than the later games. So.
I think there's definitely some changes there. The input window is no longer random, like it's deterministic, and I think it's a bit longer. So yeah. Yep, classic DJ, just super straight through. He's crashing forward. But basically, you know, it feels like ST, but just with a few tweaks, which I think are really good. So the characters that are most impacted are the really overpowered guys. So like, no more old Sagat. I think you can still pick old characters, but he's been fixed up. Boxer's been nerfed a fair bit. Vega has been nerfed a lot. So
you know if they fixed Claw's problem where he can hit you on each side?
Yep, so I'm not sure exactly what the change is, to be honest. Neither of us really played Claw, but he's definitely, like, that was the thing that most people were complaining about, that Claw is basically, like, no longer the best character in the game.
Okay. Yeah, it's long been a criticism of mine. I can't stand versing Claw, personally.
Yeah. It just doesn't... He fixed a lot of the really cheesy stuff as well. Like, later on you'll see him playing Chun-Li, and you know that neck breaker loop where when you get knocked down, Chun-Li can do down, forward, and fierce kick, and it kind of either crosses up or doesn't cross up.
Yeah.
He fixed that so it always hits in front.
Okay.
So it's funny, I still get unit with about 10 in a row later on, but it's actually like not a mix-up anymore. It's just, you just have to know how to block it. But DJ feels pretty fun to play as always. Just a cool character.
Yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, it's like an update of the game, like how we have updates of Street Fighter 5 now.
Yeah.
And people complaining about certain characters and mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fixed.
It's not as drastic as HD Remix, and it still has the same graphics. Like, it feels very much like the same game. It's just, it's like the difference between, you know, Champion Edition and Hyper Fighting or something. Like, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's an update. I mean, the graphics are still beautiful to this day.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, you got me there.
They dropped the combo.
Yep. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's a bit clunky to play right now. So how you do it is you download this ROM, put it in a specific place, and you download this kind of save state and put it in a specific place. Then you have to go into this like unsupported games section on Fightcade and play. So it's kind of a little bit complicated. It's not as easy as the regular Fightcade games. But he said apparently you can set it up to play on 30th, which is insane.
That's crazy. 30.
Like if you put the ROM in the right place or something, the actual official Capcom like game will just like pick up this ROM somehow. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but I can see.
I know 30th is gaining a lot of traction in our Discord.
Yeah,
in the Alpha community.
Well, it's interesting. The UI in terms of actually getting into matches and stuff is really bad, but the netcode seems slightly better to a lot of people. It seems more stable, and obviously the training mode is pretty cool. Yeah, this is the part here where I hit him. So this is not a mix-up. He just has to block in front for all of these apparently.
Okay.
Unless I'm mistaken. But he doesn't know that, so I'm doing it with yeah, he's complaining. I'm doing it with the timing that used to hit in the back, so he keeps blocking in the back, but it's not real anymore.
Yeah. Does he learn his lesson? Find out.
Yeah, I don't know if I get him with it again.
Okay. It would have been good if he did.
Yeah, there you go. He learned his lesson there.
I learned his lesson.
Yeah, we just saw it. Yeah, and see her throw there? It just does like normal throw damage.
Yeah, that's a good improvement.
And
Can you still hold the super?
No, he fixed that. So I think Chun-Li's quite nerfed. But, you know, she's still pretty strong. Like, she can still walk forward. Crouching forward is still crazy good. Like, she's still super fast.
So you can still play her the way you would normally play her. Still implement your strategies. They're just some of the
I think so.
Craziness.
Yeah, it's just the dumb throw, the neck breaker loop, and the stored super are gone. But yeah, she's still playable. And this guy Boxer, this is my least favorite character to play. His matchup against Blanco and Super Turtle was just so hard. Like, he does an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, I remember versing you with my Boxer versus you.
Yeah.
It's a tricky match for him. Yeah. He has a really good and reliable punish on him.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes a big difference that the Blanca ball is now safe. Super is now safe.
Really it used to be if you blocked the Blanca ball, you could instant punish and be guaranteed.
Yeah, low rush, get a knockdown, get Oki. He's just cheesing me here because I can't anti-air very well with Chun-Li. Oh, I got one there. But there you go, he learned his lesson on the neck breaker.
That's good.
Double KO. That might be the first ever double KO in this game.
In this game's history.
Yeah. This is what I imagine it would feel like if you were around back in the arcade days when the new Street Fighter 2 came out. Everyone would just be playing it.
Yeah, gathering around.
Yeah. There was like 25 people or something in the unsupported games forum all playing this, so it's pretty cool.
That's good. That's good to see it's got a lot of support.
Yeah.
It might even bring new players into the ST community, like a lot of these re-releases have.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. He's done an amazing job on the ROM hack. Like, it's not trivial at all to do this. Like, he's basically edited like the raw assembly code of the game. And yeah, as I said, it's taken him 5 years or something.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, so it's a labor of love. Look at this, he's just cheesing me. He knows I don't know, so I just super to get out of the corner, then I jump straight back in. I was done. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, enough of this. I need to anti-air this stuff.
Yeah, I also read that he wants to implement extra colors for each character as well.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That's good.
I want to be able to play with the original colors, like red Ken and white Ryu, without.
Yeah, it always felt strange like that. You can't play red
Yeah.
new Ken in SP.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, beautiful. And now Ken has some interesting things. If you watch, when I do his hurricane kick, it kind of recovers a bit quicker, I think, or it like goes back down to the ground, so you can get some cool mix-ups from it.
Awesome.
And I think his crazy kicks, the inputs are fixed up as well. Units noticing that the music is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like being able to play on the boss stages, because normally when you play Super Turbo, you never really get to play on the boss stages that much. If you see there, I might be mistaken, but from the few times I tried it, I couldn't walk under after his knee bash throw. You know how you can knee bash and then walk under or not walk under to get that mix up?
Yep.
I think that's gone.
Okay.
Maybe it just doesn't work against Boxer or something.
Maybe. I mean, I think that's a questionable decision if Ken's one can't do it. Or did you mean?
Yeah. See, did you see that? That was a really nice mix-up that you get with after a sweep. If you do me and kick, hurricane kick, it kind of recovers a bit quicker, so you can pressure them on the other side.
I wonder if Boxer's mix-up with the throw is still there.
I don't know. That was an accident. I didn't mean super there. Yeah, I'm not sure about Boxer. He's not throwing me because my defense is too good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen much of Unit's Boxer before. How did you feel it compared to his other characters?
He's not strong like as Boxer. I don't think he wasn't like rushing me down too much, but it's okay. He's going back to Akuma. But yeah, I really like to play some strong plays in this. The music on Vega's stage is pretty different to the ST one. Yeah, see, if you look at that, that's what I was talking about with the air fireball setups. You block high, and it kind of puts you in block stun, and then he comes and sweeps you.
Yep.
It's pretty tricky. But yeah, like if you look at it, Akuma just feels like another character now. Like I don't know, maybe he's still pretty strong, but I wasn't feeling like frustrated or anything.
Yep.
I noticed that after I did jab, like before I was doing short, and then walk up throw, then I was doing short, and he was like mashing buttons, so I did short and then uppercut, and that got him a few times. I mean, that's the power of Ken, like throw, uppercut, low mix-ups. Again there, see that? He jumped over my, I beat the coin because that was pretty sick. He jumped over and did air fireball, and it combos into sweep.
Okay.
He's trying it again there.
He's going for that mix-up again with the air fireball sweep. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, nice uppercut.
There again, I got short. Oh,
yeah.
Sick execution. I don't think that actually comboed. I think he was just mashing.
Yeah, I noticed that a few times. He just wanted to mash buttons. He wasn't blocking at all.
Yeah. Well, it was because he was worried about my throw, because I was tick throwing him a lot before. So I would hit short and he would start mashing, then I'd just uppercut him. Then I don't know what happened here. Okay, yeah. What character does he pick now? Goes back to Ryu, does he? No, back to Akuma. Yeah, and being able to select the stages is pretty fun. One of the stated reasons for it is that some of the stages run faster or slower, so people like playing on particular stages.
I think it was E Honda stage that was a very slow one.
Yeah, because of the water, there's this like waterfall effect in the background that's really like graphically intensive, apparently.
Yep.
I think maybe Blanca's runs fast or something like that.
Yeah, Blankers for sure. I think also Keith.
Okay, yeah. It's funny, you'd think they get a fixed frame rate, but yeah. I guess they weren't worrying about that kind of thing back then.
Yeah, a lot of craziness in ST. That's what it's known for.
Yeah. Like that again, that's really tricky to block. The air fireball kind of like bumps him up a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, reactions. Oh, I think I was trying to do short super, but I don't have that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with this game. Like, I could definitely see us organising a tournament for the Australian players and people getting into it. Just feels fun. Like, it's just nice to have something a little bit fresh. Like,
yeah,
we've had a change.
Yeah, we've had a few different Street Fighter 2 tournaments being organised, with those uncommon ones.
Yep, the World Warrior and stuff like that.
Yeah, or what's the other one? The Ko Ryu, or what it's called?
Oh, the ROM hack one.
Yeah, the ROM hack one with all the craziness.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is like
yeah.
the opposite of that one because this is the tame version,
Yeah,
where the other
exactly.
one went for the other way. The most
Yep.
crazy stuff you can put in.
Yep. Oh yeah, this is me telling Unit Productions that I'm recording it. Oh look, me and Quest will commentate. Here we are. That's amazing. I predicted the future.
Well done.
See,
Is that why you're beating him in this set? Your reads were just on point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Even in the comments.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Oh, how did that not work? He overhead and I flame kicked and it whiffed on it. A bug? What happened before to SPD? Yeah,
Did you feel any improvements with Fei Long, or were you unsure?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really play Fei Long, so I was just mashing, but I think his chicken wing might just be a half circle or something now, because I got it out by accident. And I definitely did input up, so I'm sure he must be improved a little bit, but I don't play him enough to really understand.
Fair enough.
There is a change list, which is a massive text file. It's like very detailed list of changes for every character, like, move the hitbox of this move down by 2 pixels and like all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'd like to play a bit of Fei, because I think one of the things that keeps me from playing him is that the chicken wing input's really difficult. But if it's just half circle, like, I could definitely see myself playing him. Let's see what I pick here. I'll play a bit of Gael.
Big Guile.
I think Gael hasn't been changed that much either. Similar to Ryu, he's already quite balanced.
Yeah, I'd like to see his super improve if there was going to be a change.
Yeah, yep. I can't even do the motion for his super reliably, so I struggle with that.
Yeah, it is a tricky one. I know in HDR they changed it to make it a bit easier.
Yeah. Get out of there. Flash kick in the face. Oh. But it's funny, playing Unit is very aggressive in this matchup. Like, most of the time this is just a war of a lot of fireballs, but he's really aggressive on wake up. So I tried to do it as well. I didn't know Guile's jumping short crossed up, but it does. It's pretty good in this.
Yeah, he's jumping light kick. Crosses
Yeah.
up. Good. It's his main cross up attack.
Yep.
Yeah, nice cross up.
No, I was going for cross up crouching medium punch into flash kick, but I couldn't get it out there.
You got the 2 jabs though. I mean, the damage is not that big of a difference.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work, it's full screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Super Turbo at this point. Like, there's not that much change from these 2 characters, maybe like minor stuff. But yeah, still as fun as ever. Like, it's amazing how I still think it hasn't been topped in terms of just pure gameplay fun. Like, the footsies is so good, so high pace, high damage. Like, it's just a really good game. It's very fair.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're playing against a really good player, I got the air throw there. It still feels like you're losing because you made the wrong decisions. Whereas sometimes in Alpha 3, if someone gets you with unblockables or just like, you jump in once and V'ism takes all your health, like, it just feels pretty unfair. But I never get that feeling in Super Turbo.
Yeah, my take on it is that Super Turbo is more based on fundamentals than Alpha 3. Where Alpha 3, your tech skill will take you a lot further.
Yeah, it's more of a one-player game sometimes.
Yeah, it can be like that.
Gael vs Sagat. So I think Sagat is based on his new version as opposed to the old one.
Well, he's playing new Sagat.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you can still play the old characters, and they actually have their own individual balances. So for old Blanca, apparently he's more similar to the hyper fighting one. So he has that in hyper fighting, he was really good in his up fall, like if you charge down and then up and kick. It was really good. Like, you could combo off of that into other stuff. It was really tricky. You could like cross up. And so he's got that back, old Blanca, so that makes him somewhat, interesting to play. So that'd be pretty cool. I might try him out at some point. Whereas in Super Turbo, old Blanca is literally the worst character in the game.
In Super Turbo, well, some people say Cammy is the worst character.
No, but old Blanca is much worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Old Blanca.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
He doesn't have the hop. He doesn't have super, obviously, but there's no like redeeming features. He's just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Cammy. I wonder what what changes have been made to Cammy.
Yeah. One of the tricky things about playing her is that her spiral cannon is often not safe on bluff unless you get the right like distance.
Yeah.
Opposed to like Balrog's like rush punches or boxes rush punches.
Yep. Yeah, if they fix that would be pretty good. Although, it's easy to make it too strong. But yeah, he did say he was aiming to buff more than nerf. So like most characters are a little bit stronger, with the exception of the really top tier characters that like like Boxer and Claw and stuff have been toned down a little bit.
I really like that idea. Because a lot of people would be used to playing it a certain way, and then they can't no longer do it. It won't be as fun for them.
Yeah.
If you bring up the lower tier characters, then I reckon that's a better way to go about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more games left. Again, I don't really play Honda, but I was just messing around with him. I'm sure stuff's changed, but I don't know him well enough to be able to tell.
Yep.
But yeah, I reckon there's probably some like broken stuff in here that's yet to be discovered, so I'm interested to see if anyone finds things. But the good thing is as well that it's not too hard for him to just fix stuff and put out a new version. Like it's it's going to be an ongoing process. This is just kind of the beta.
That's good.
But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I posted in the Discord and I was talking to Yuna about it as well. Like it'll be really interesting to see an Alpha 3 rebalanced ROM hack. That'll be a huge job, obviously, but it'd be interesting to see what changes people would make.
Yeah, definitely. I remember MTSL Sandman once said to me, a way to balance Vism is to take away the air block.
Yep, I can see that. I think he was saying take away air block from everyone. He was also saying you have to have 100% Vsm meter to activate, which I quite like as well.
Yeah, full meter. You can't half meter it. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Because half meter is really good for just at the end of rounds, just activating and winning.
Well, I think the point, because he was saying that he enjoys attacking more than like defensive play.
Yep.
And that's why he didn't like the air block. But he was saying as a way to balance it, you can take the air block and just be
Yeah, anti-airs don't feel strong enough. Like the fact that you can uppercut someone and they block it and then punish you, it just feels pretty dumb. Yep, so that's the end of those games. So yeah, really fun set. Had a lot of fun with the game, and I really want to play more. Like I want to play some strong players. We should get a tournament going or something. That'd be sick.
Yeah, we could see a tournament coming up in the future. I know Unit Productions likes running those sort of custom Street Fighter 2 games.
Yep, alternate game tournaments, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is Super Street Fighter 2 New Legacy. You can. It's pretty easy to set up. So get on Fightcade, get some games happening. I think you had some news and announcements for us, Quest. Let's go into that segment. There's been a bit going on in the Alpha 3 community. So what's your first announcement for us?
Well, the first announcement is that Raging Bull, our main TO, he has announced the rules for the upcoming tournaments.
Yeah.
One that was suggested by you, Luke Fitz, was the Swiss style. What do you believe the advantages of this format is compared to the standard format of double elimination?
I think the thing I don't like about double elimination is that you just don't get to play that much. Like if you lose twice, you're just gone. Like it's very high stakes. Like and it can be unfair. Like if you meet 2 strong players, you're just eliminated and you don't get to, you might be the 3rd best player in the tournament, but you get knocked out by the 2 best in your first 2 games and that's it. So I really enjoy the Alpha 2 tournaments that we have where it's normally round robin. There's normally like 5 or 6 or 7 entrants and you just play everyone. I feel like that's a really good format. You get in a good groove, you play a lot of games and still competitive and still kind of fun, but it's I find that a lot fairer of a format. And you improve a lot more. Like given that you play every single player, you see a lot of different styles and it's just really fun. So we can't really do that with Alpha 3 because there's too many entrants normally. Like it would just take way too long to do round robin with everyone. But the Swiss style system, my understanding of it is everybody plays every round, but you don't necessarily play everybody. So they kind of pair players that are performing well and those that are performing badly. So you're more likely to play people that are similar skill to you. and you end up with a table of wins and losses that basically gives you a ranking of all the players.
Nice.
So they use it a lot in like chess and various other sports, and I think it's been used in FGC a little bit as well. I don't fully understand the details, but I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting to try. It just means you get more games in, which is really good.
Yeah, I think it would be good for rankings as well, because like you were saying, you could be the third best character, but then lose ranking because your first two opponents were the second and best, and the best players in the tournament. So, it's probably a more accurate way to go about it, but we'll see how it pans out. I'm skeptical, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, really? What makes you skeptical?
No, it's an uncommon style. It might put off some people from playing.
Yeah, it's complicated, I guess.
Format. Yeah, it is a bit complicated to explain to people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the issues that we've been experiencing lately is what will allow the most people to enter versus what is optimal for a tournament.
Yeah.
Another one of these arguments is wired versus wireless play.
Yep.
What's your take on that? Do you think tournaments should be wired, or do you think it's not worth it because we'd lose players?
That's a really good question. I currently play on Wi-Fi all the time just because of the setup that I have. It's just difficult given the geography of where I play for it to be wired, but I can definitely see the argument that it should be wired only. I think it's a little bit over the top. It will definitely limit the number of players if you mandate that it has to be that way for the tournament. So I actually like the idea of having maybe two different styles of tournaments. One that's like a quote unquote serious, or like for your more experienced players where it's wired only, happens on 30th for better netcode. You can do infinite to unbanned, just anything goes, just like a traditional tournament style, and that can be double elimination. Whereas at a lower level of play, like wired or wireless, just doesn't matter that much. It's more at the higher level that it matters. So I think Swiss or like round robin or something on Fightcade with maybe infinite spans is not a bad idea as just a tournament for like newer players or to be a bit more accessible. Like I can see the argument for both. I don't know. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I can see the argument for both. I mean, I agree with what you said. I think getting people to participate is crucial though in growing the community.
Yeah.
I know the tournaments, like ever since Raging Bull started doing these tournaments, it really grew the community and it really took off. So if we were just to cut people out because of 30th and because of wired only, it could hinder the growth of the community. But I like your idea of having two different formats, one for the serious and one for the less serious.
And as people get better, they'll gravitate towards the more serious ones once they get frustrated with the connections that they're getting, or feel more able to deal with infinites and that kind of thing. I could even support a no visum tournament, to be honest. Like I think that would be quite fun. Just because it's such a big distinguishing factor between newer and more experienced players.
Well, on the 30th thing, the reality is it costs money. Now, whether it's $1 or $100. I think some newer players wouldn't want to invest money into something and get destroyed. So Fightcade's a good way to lead into it.
It's just a small barrier.
Yeah, I don't personally have 30th, but if people moved over there, I would spend the required money, to play on there.
Yeah, I have it, and it's quite good for the training mode. You get all of the games from Street Fighter 1 through to Third Strike, so all the Street Fighter 2s, all the Alphas, all the Street Fighter 3s, which is pretty cool. It's good. The online isn't as good as Fightcade in terms of actually getting games, and because no one's on there, and the interface is just kind of annoying. You can't play continuous games one after the other. You have to kind of go back into the lobby and back in, so it's a bit frustrating and slow, but it is probably more stable in terms of the netcode. I don't feel strongly about it, but yeah, I'm kind of the same as you. I'd be happy to play there. I'm happy to play on either, basically.
Yeah, you said before you would support no visum tournaments. Why do you think this is a good idea?
I think it just showcases more of the game. Like when you play against really strong players, they're very highly likely to use visum. Not so much with Dr. Ali or November Golf, but your Gizzle or Toxie or those kind of players. And it really just dominates the game. Like when you're playing against a strong visum character, a lot of the game is centered around who's got what meter, when are they going to activate, can you hit your Vism combos, can you link into the infinite after that? Whereas I feel like that's very frustrating to play against if you're not very good, and it doesn't really teach you, not even teach you, but it's just not fun. Like, whereas when you're playing against someone, even if you're playing, an A Ryu or, a grappler or one of these other characters just in Aism, I feel like it's a lot more fair. You know why you're losing more, I guess, as opposed to just getting hit once and losing half your health, every round.
Yep. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Look, my take on it is that at the moment it's not necessary because we have a big mix of Aism and Vism play already. But maybe in the future, if it starts getting dominated by Vism and people are just getting destroyed off one combo, like new players, then maybe the no Vism tournament is a good way to go about it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, it's as you say, I think it's okay as it is. But just throwing it out there as an idea.
Yeah. And,
but yeah, I'll be excited to see how the Swiss bracket goes. I think it's tonight, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Tonight. No, actually, I don't know. I'm just taking your word for it. Is it tonight?
I'm pretty sure it is. Will we be seeing you enter that tournament? You've been missing in action from the last tournament, I think.
No, I won't be entering this tournament. No, not at the moment. I'm focusing more on improving as a player and before I enter another tournament.
Okay, fair enough.
Some people could argue like, well, you can still enter a tournament and still improve. But I think like myself, I'm a little bit disappointed in my progress as a player.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And rather than just take more losses, I think I want to improve and I've only got myself to blame. I've got to take responsibility and get better. Now, some people would say that, like, it's just a game. You shouldn't take it seriously. I think if you invest time to get good at anything, then the result matters. In my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
What aspects of your game are you trying to improve?
Well, one that's well known is linking into Super.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were saying before during the Super Turbo commentary that this game, the tech really matters in Alpha 3 compared to ST.
Absolutely.
So I've got to get the crucial Super Link reliably. Ideally a cross-up link, but I'll be down the road.
Yep. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah, and there's a few different ways I want to learn to link into it. I can get it, but it's not reliable at the moment. And I'm going to take down these Vism guys like Salty, who's really powerful with Vism these days.
Yeah, and TMB.
I've got to, TMB as well. I've got to step it up. Lately, in the last 2 months, we've seen a shift in the community from one that is united to one where things have been heavily debated in general chat.
Yep.
Do you agree or disagree with this statement?
I think there's always been that division. I think just as it gets bigger, it's coming out more. And Dr. Allo even kind of anticipated it in that he knew that some of these issues like allowing infinites or Vism or this type of max and upper versus vanilla would come out. I wouldn't say it's necessarily divided. I think there's just some healthy disagreements. I think as players are getting stronger, they're figuring out that maybe Fightcade isn't the optimal way to play. So that's why people are more moving to red JGPO or 30th. So yeah, I don't really see it as a huge issue. Like, as long as people are still playing, I feel like you can still get some good games. I think that's the main thing. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's one issue, but another issue was also the infinite debate. We've seen people on both sides give strong opinions. I think it has moved to being more divided and more debated, partly because newer players have come into the scene and they've got their own ideas how to run things, different to Elo and Raging Bull. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a reality that they come in and they say, well, this is what we want. And then, Elo and Bull are saying, well, no, this is the way we've been doing it. It's been working this way. There's pros and cons to this. Like, one of the pros is that people can feel that they can give their suggestions and they'll be heard and they'll be considered. And we can weed out the bad ideas and bring in some new good ideas.
Yep.
One of the problems, though, is it's a less friendly environment. And this impacts new players. I remember one person came into the server recently and there was like a big debate about I don't remember what it was about, but some debate.
Yeah.
And I remember you were telling him like, no, it's not normally like this. You just walked into a shitstorm of it. But that could put people off. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see that.
Yeah, there's some pros and cons to this, as well as having the different tournament formats. We could see half the people competing in one rule set and the other one competing in the other, and kind of not versing each other. So
yeah, it does fracture the community a little bit. Yeah, no, those are all valid points. Obviously everyone could just agree and we're all on the same page that we better, but I think that's just inherent to the FGC really, is that there's disagreements. It's a competitive game, like people take it quite seriously, as you said. But the main thing that's important to me is just that we're actually playing the game. It's the less time that you spend complaining about stuff on Discord and the more time you spend on whatever the platform is playing, that's my ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We see I think some people spend a little too much time some days like complaining on there instead of playing the game. But in other news, a new podcast has emerged by Dr. Allo and November Golf called Alpha Rivalries or Alpha Rivals, one of those, where they demonstrate and discuss strategies and frame data of different characters. Do you view their podcast as being competition to this podcast?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we are the premier Alpha 3 podcast in the world right now. I think that's undisputed. I mean, we're the best. We're number one. And that there's always going to be someone coming to try and take you off the perch. Like just like November Golf or Dr. Allo are maybe some of the best players right now. We're definitely the best in the game when it comes to podcast. They're coming into our area of expertise. Their content is good. They obviously know what they're talking about. It's a bit boring, like it's quite long. I learn a lot from it, but is it as good as our podcast? I don't think so. But am I concerned that there's a new kid on the block? Yes, I'm a bit concerned. What's your take on that?
Well, my take is a less interesting answer. My view is they're not competition to us because
we're just that much better.
Because we're just maybe, but the other reason is because theirs is more of like a tutorial, like how to get better at a technical level.
Yep.
Where ours is more about learning about the players and discussing the latest issues within the community. So I see it as complementary to us because we're more like the media. They're more like the teachers, And that's my view of it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. We might have to have a crossover episode at one point.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, what was your thoughts on the videos themselves? I quite enjoyed the ones about Karen and Sakura specifically. I played both those characters a little bit, and they had some really good perspectives. I think there's not much content like that about Alpha 3 out there, so it's good to see.
Well, I was going to ask you, because you play both of these characters, and what are some key things that you learn from watching their podcast?
I think it's interesting to see the way they think about the game. So with Sakura, specifically the focus on that bread and butter combo, so the short uppercut. That's probably a very weak area of my game. Like I'm much more fundamentals based player than hitting combos. But the way that they showed how that makes her a strong player. So you hit one of them just from hit confirming, and then if they roll, you can hit it again. If they don't roll, you can cross them up and get a chance to hit them again. It can be very ambiguous, or you can, empty jump into low, which is really tricky to block. So yeah, I guess I don't really think in that kind of setup-oriented way that often. So that was really interesting, and yeah, just to get inside their minds. Like I think most of the actual information I was aware of, but yeah, it's just interesting to see the way that they approach the characters, and in a very analytical way. Like they knew. They could really explain what their strategy was when playing with that character, which was interesting to hear.
Yeah. So it was more like a general strategy opposed to like specific frame data that you learned because you already play these characters, you're already familiar.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm just not on that level yet. Like I'm not thinking about the hitbox or the maybe I basically think about like safe on block and unsafe on block, but not like frame advantage and that type of stuff. So yeah, I think they're on a different level. Is
that just the way you prefer to learn, or is it just a matter of learning about it that you haven't done yet? Like you haven't really got down frame data?
I think, I don't know. I think I'm not a very technical player. I think I just prefer to, well, since I've mainly played Street Fighter 2, it's not that necessary, but definitely you hear about people talk about the latest versions as like Math Fighter or whatever, that you just need to know, like all frame data and what your frame advantage is after everything. So it's definitely important. It's just not something that I've looked at really. But yeah, I might have to start doing that.
Ah, cool. We have the win quotes we can go with.
Yep. So obviously most of the time when we play the game of Fightcade, it's the 0 edition, so we can't understand the win quotes. But I think it's important. It's a real important psychological aspect of the game, what your character's win quote is, because that's the message that you're conveying when you win. That's the message that you're sending to the opponent of like, this is why I won, or this is what you need to do different, or this is the kind of vibe that I'm sending out. So we've gone to the trouble of getting English translations of all the win quotes, and we've got the top 5. So Quest's got his top 5, I've got my top 5, and we're going to go through them. So let's start with number 5. Quest, what is your number 5 win quote?
My number 5 win quote is by Cody. Mm-hmm. I saved a city, saved a girl, but couldn't save myself. I like this quote because it's a true story in the Street Fighter world about a guy who fought for justice as a vigilante back in the Final Fight days, but he ended up in jail. The girl he saved was his girlfriend, Jessica Hager, who was the daughter of the mayor of Metro City.
Wow,
Mike
you're
Hager.
deep into this. You're deep into this.
Yeah, it's all about the story. For that quote, for that one at least.
Yep.
Did you want to list yours, or do you want me to list?
Yeah, I'll do a number 5, but I like that one as well. It's a strange thing to say after you win, but I do like that one. My number 5 it's quite a simple one. It's Guy. Perhaps you lack the discipline necessary for you to win. I'll read it again. Perhaps you lack the discipline necessary for you to win. It really makes you think, the person that you beat, maybe they do lack the discipline necessary for them to win. Really, it's a mind game. I can imagine Giorgiani saying that kind of thing. I like that one. Just short and sweet.
Yeah. It's a practical one. My next one is more practical as well. It's by Daleson.
Yep.
Victory is to control yourself as well as control the opponent. Now, this reminds me of the simplified objective in grappling, which is to control your opponent but not be controlled. But this also fits Daleson because he is the best zoner in the game.
Yep.
And zoning is about controlling the space.
Yep.
It also fits him. Sorry? You're gonna...
That's true. Keep going.
Yeah. It also fits him because of the meditation yoga elements, which allow him to keep himself under control, which he probably does better than any other character.
That's true.
Following the Street Fighter story.
Yeah. And on a meta level, it relates to what it takes to play Street Fighter well, which is it is about controlling yourself, controlling your urge to do certain moves or just being in control of what you're doing and also the opponent. So it works on that higher level as well.
Yep.
Cool. So my number 4 is Chun-Li. This is one of hers. I need a vacation. Being an inspector isn't easy.
Why?
I'll read it again. I need a vacation. Being an inspector isn't easy. I don't know. I think it's just very relatable. It's just, the pressures of employment can be crushing. It's just I just like that win quote. Just a weird thing to say as well. Like, why would you say that after you've just been in a street fight?
Yeah. Do you find it relatable? You said to your work.
Yeah. Being an inspector isn't easy. It's true.
Fair enough.
All right, number 3.
My number 3 is by Ken. Rivalry can often inspire one skill to become its best. And I chose this one because part of what inspires me to get better is facing people around my skill level.
Yeah, definitely.
So people below my skill level, like significantly below, I don't find it that inspiring to get better. And people that are a lot better than me, at the same time, I don't find that inspiring to get better than them because it's not realistic at the time.
Yep.
So losing and realizing if I had just landed this cross up more reliably or I did this combo better, I could have won. It's a big incentive to get better. And I find my own progress has happened the most against people like yourself or like Salty or people
Yep.
around my level
Yep.
more so than others, you know.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. That's so true. And it links to Ken and Ryu's story of, training with each other and becoming stronger.
That's true. And I think Ken is more likely than Ryu to be like inspired by rivalry. He's more of like the one that wants to beat the other person. Where for Ryu, it's more about his inner journey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I should have picked that one, but I didn't. My number 3 is a different Dalsim one. It's not your one. It's a friend, no matter how weak or poor, is worth dying for. Meditate now, then the answers you seek will be revealed. It's an interesting one. A friend, no matter how weak or poor, is worth dying for. And I just like it because it rhymes. He's just dropping bars.
Dropping bars.
Yeah. I don't really know what it means.
Yep.
I don't know what he's talking about. I wonder if it links to his story. I don't know if his story has something to do with a friend or something, but just a mysterious one.
Maybe it's about karma or something because he's a Hindu, I believe.
Yeah, yoga master.
Yeah, he's part of the Eastern religions and philosophy, so helping others is important.
It's worth dying for.
Yeah, it's worth dying. Yeah, worth dying for. Put others before yourself.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. All right, number 2.
My number 2 is by Charlie. Of course, being a Charlie player, one of my favorite quotes is Charlie. Fighting skill depends on one's ability to anticipate visually.
I've pondered this one. What does that mean?
Well, it's true in Street Fighter because people value their ability to put. How do I put this?
To make reads.
Yeah, to make reads. So fighting skill depends on one's ability to anticipate visually. So picking up patterns of what your opponent does.
Yep.
And then visually because you see what they do.
Yep.
And then remembering it and then countering them next time they do it, or next time
That's
it
true.
appears they're moving in that direction or going for that attack. And I think this
also
is a very
reaction time. If you can visually, if you can react to someone tattooing or someone jumping and uppercut them, that's all based off your visual reaction time.
Reaction as well, but for the quote, it's anticipate visually. So you've got to anticipate beforehand what they're going to do. And I think some people value their ability to put tricky inputs in, but to me, to really outplay someone in my mind, is to pick up on their patterns and counter them on it.
Yep.
And notice their movements and find the weakness in their strategy.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Yeah,
that's what strong players do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very visual kind of thing.
I wonder if that's a secret little message from the developers about how you should be playing Street Fighter.
Yeah, it could be.
It's interesting. All right, my number 2 is E. Honda, and his quote is, "A sumo wrestler is big, but the world is much, much bigger." I'll read that again. "A sumo wrestler is big, but the world is much, much bigger." That's just true. It's true. When you really think about that, it's true.
It's true.
No matter how big you are, no matter, how much, I don't know, one of his other quotes is about some specific kind of stew or something that you're meant to eat to become a sumo wrestler. But no matter how big you are, the world is much, much bigger.
Yep.
So that really hit home for me. That's my number 2.
So perhaps there's more to the world than one aspect of your life, or to fighting.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
To,
yeah. And there's always someone out there who's better than you. No matter how good you are, there's always that one person.
Yeah, that's true. But the way I interpret it is like there's more aspects to life than one. So we shouldn't define ourselves by one aspect only.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is my little take on it. But,
yeah. No, I like that.
For number 1, I picked Ryu's quote. Sometimes the most important battle is the battle within. Now, this is my favorite quote because I find it applies to Street Fighter, but also many things in life in general.
Yeah, definitely.
It's what I've reminded myself of when I face challenges. And it fits Ryu because he is a fighter, but he also embodies the journey of being a martial artist beyond just the punching and kicking and throwing fireball element. Unlike a character like Balrog, who's more about just winning money and beating people up.
My fight money, as his famous Street Fighter 4 quote goes.
Yeah, that's it. It's about the money. It's about beating people. Where Ryu, it's about a journey within himself, and yeah, sometimes the most important battle is the battle within. I find it's often the most important battle. My take.
Yeah, definitely true in Street Fighter as well.
Yes.
It kind of links to that dowsing of controlling yourself being really important.
Yeah, true.
No, I love that one. That's a really good one. My number one is equally deep. It's Blanca, and I'll read out his quote. Woo, 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 woo. I'll read that one more time. Woo, 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 woo.
Okay.
That's my number one quote. I mean, no explanation necessary, really. That's just that's stunning.
Okay, maybe the message here is it's better to have a clear mind and not think too much before going into a fight.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
You think so?
I mean, that's art, really. You can't interpret it. Just kind of hits you at a subconscious level sometimes, and that's what I think about Blanca.
Yeah, all right, Luke. All right.
It's absurdist.
All right, Luke. All right.
All right. That's the only reason I play Blanca is because of that quote.
Of course.
Yep. But anyway, that's our top 5 win quotes. If you've got a favorite win quote from Alpha 3, I mean, it's a bit difficult because we normally see them in Japanese, but you know that you can find the English translations online. Yeah, it's just a really weird aspect of the game that they put all these in. I mean, none of them are quite on the level of Guile's Street Fighter 2, Go Home and Be a Family Man. That's got to be up there as one of the best.
Yeah, as the most iconic, perhaps.
Yeah, the most known. Especially when playing against Chun-Li or Cammy as well. But yeah.
The classic telling Chun-Li to go home and be a family man.
Family man, yep. But yeah, that's about it for today's episode of the Alpha Lives podcast. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. If you want to come on, as always, let us know. But we'll be back in another couple of weeks with another episode. So signing off.